This is so funny. Okay, Kim Kardashian believes that women should just work harder and gets absolutely roasted for it. Now, I am of two opinions about this, because on one hand, I tend to take the approach that's like, hard work is important we have become part of a culture that does not put as much value on hard work as it used to. We tend to think that hard work is for suckers nowadays because the system is rigged. That feels like that's a lot of the online sentiment that I see these days. And then the other side of me is thinks of our friend Pete Buttigieg. She's like, just go buy an electric car. I'm not getting political. I'm just saying that's what rich people. So the issue of this is that she's very wealthy.
Yeah.
She was born into a wealthy family. But I think a lot of the people that are roasting her think that all she did was make a sex tape and then became famous, and then suddenly money just appeared, and that she's become a billionaire by accident, which is objectively not true.
Sure.
So it says Kim Kardashian is coping. Is that how you spell coping? I'm assuming that's because it's not coping.
Coping.
But that doesn't make it. Isn't the joke or the phrase cope harder?
I don't know the joke. I'm not a wordsmith right now.
It says, and is absolutely roasted for telling women in business they just need to work harder. In a recent interview promoting her new family reality TV show, the businesswoman complained that people don't seem to want to work for their money. I get what she's saying. But
wait, read her quote first.
Get your effing ass up and work, the reality TV star said in an interview with Variety. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
Wait, why do people think she's lazy? Do you realize how hard
I don't think it's that they think she's lazy. I think they just think that she got all of her wealth handed to her.
I think I think when she started out, people did think like, you made a sex tape and then like became famous on social media, so like there's a certain amount of like, it doesn't really matter what this person says. That was like what, over a decade ago, and like she runs multiple companies. Like she clearly is like what we would use in the pop culture language as like, she's a hustler. Like she has made whatever
works very hard.
Came from. She works very hard. She's very innovative. She's obviously negotiated a lot of contracts very successfully, but she gets
keep going. I have to fix something.
Okay.
She gets like roasted a little bit.
Live
people
on
don't
air,
always...
we're fixing stuff.
She does.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to talk through it.
Yeah.
She gets like in trouble because people say, your dad was a successful lawyer. You went to these really nice schools.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who were born into that kind of wealth who do nothing with it. And while they themselves then inherit money and stay wealthy, like there's no denying that she has turned her circumstances, even though they were positive, into something even bigger.
They said the same thing about two politicians in one video. I hate myself about Donald Trump being like, he had like $1 million inheritance or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, and they're like, I was like, you do know that millionaire and billionaire are like different things, right? That's not this. He grew a small amount of money into a very large amount of money.
Yeah. And also, like, just because you start off, with money doesn't preclude you from working hard. Like, you can squander that, or you could turn it into something bigger, just like someone who doesn't have those options.
Who's the really famous David the famous like financial guy, something Ramsey?
Dave Ramsey.
There's an actor named David Ramsey, so I want to say
he's just Dave.
Dave
He's more casual.
Dave Ramsey is, I believe it's like only 8% of the millionaires in America inherited it, and the average large scale millionaire inheritance is gone within 2 or 3 generations or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can just, it gets squandered. That's a very common thing to have happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I roast a lot of celebrities on here about them seeming out of touch and disconnected. I think the core values she's preaching are good. I think that she's a little bit having trouble reading the room.
Yeah, I wish I had sent it to you. I saw a really interesting tweet that sort of sums up the response to this. Because I don't like a dog pile. Like, people say dumb things that get
and I'm okay with Kim Kardashian. Like, I've said, like, out of all the Kardashian women, I find her to be I like her the most. Actually,
no.
Everybody else says they're different thing. I'm a purist. Okay, old
fair
school.
Enough.
But it's
there
funny.
was this tweet that said, someone responded to an interview, or like this line being quoted by Variety, and she was like, I used to work 50 hours a week on your fashion app, and I made so little money that like I'd have to call out sick because I couldn't fill my gas tank. I had to shop at like super discount places, and like, this is, I thought it was an interesting comment because I think Kim Kardashian is right, but it is true that like, does she have a sustainable business practice underneath her? Does she support the workers that she has? It was like when, this was, several years ago at this point, but the female CEO of Yahoo, and I don't know if she's still in office, but at the time, Yahoo.com had a female CEO, and she said how important it was that women spend time with her children, and she actually brought her baby to the office because she couldn't take as long a maternity leave, and so her baby was just like in her office during the day, and then she cut maternity leave for all the women at Yahoo or something like that.
She cut it.
Yeah.
And business women, man, they're cutthroat.
Oh,
you have to be.
They're a different breed.
It's kind of like
but like just to finish my point, like the point of that is like, yeah, she has worked really hard and gotten to the point where she can have like, I guess, a nanny or give herself the right to have her child and cut everyone else's. Like, it doesn't look good, but arguably she has worked hard. You wouldn't say that she hasn't. Similarly with Kim Kardashian, like she has worked really hard. I don't know that I would hold her up as my this is to say, I don't know what her treatment of the people that she works with is like, or the people who work at the company she employs. So I can't say that she's my business icon, but
as far as what she's accomplished,
she definitely works hard. I trust that, but
it's kind of like women, like really cutthroat female CEOs. It's kind of like short cops. They overcompensate because they need to feel like they need to prove themselves in the workplace sometime. It feels like that, like they need to prove that they're just like the men. Maybe she wants to prove like she's just like the men, and she needs to make a cold, calculating, rational decision for the good of the business. She feels like she needs to prove she can do that.
I don't even like to compare it to gendered stuff. I think it's just that certain personality types are like, no, it's fine for me to do it, but none for you. Like they can only think about, and this is an argument that comes with like top executives who have like narcissistic personality disorder. Like that one of the reasons they're successful is because they prioritize their career and their success over everyone. And I'm not saying the Yahoo CEO was like that, and I'm not saying that's true, like the same personality type for Kim Kardashian, but like, this like you just need to work harder mentality is true in a lot of cases, but I think she made a weird decision because it's going to be very easy for her to get destroyed by former employees.
Yeah.
It would be easier for us to hear this from like a recently successful CEO who's not a gazillionaire, but maybe like maybe their company has grown significantly in the last couple of years.
And she has this like no one wants to work anymore. Like who do you know?
Yeah, who do you know that doesn't want to work?
Yeah, because I feel like there are a lot of people who do want to work.
They're probably surrounded by almost probably career-driven people in there in that sphere. The people that
or other people who inherited money and don't have to work.
Yeah,
and then she's like, "Oh my gosh, why don't you guys want to work? It's crazy. I love working, which is cool." Good
also,
for you,
they've never worked. They've never clocked into a job. Their jobs have always been boardroom-esque per se. Very white collar, not the same thing as punching a clock at an office or punching a clock to go and be an electrician. It's very different.
It's very different.
But it's hard for me to criticize because I do agree heavily with the sentiment, and I also believe that a lot of this critique came from like Jamila Jamil, who I have my own issues with the stuff.
I don't like her.
A lot of people don't like her. I've also found that she tends to have a hard on, pardon my language, for coming at Kim Kardashian because I think she sees it as
it's very hard for me not. I know where you're going with this. It's very hard to not see her interactions on social media and think like, oh, you're doing this so people will write an article about this.
Exactly.
Like, this is we call it clout chasing or just starting controversy to get attention.
Jamila Jamil says, just take the money. First of all, she didn't take the money. She made the money. She says, just take the money, use it for good, and chill the F out with lecturing other people about grind and hustle. I agree that you shouldn't lecture people. I don't think that you should demonize the idea of hustling, though I do. I watched a couple of really interesting documentaries about like the toxic side of hustle culture, and how bad it is for your mental health. But just take the money, use it. The use it for good is my favorite. It's what I like to call a virtue signal sandwich. It's literally a virtue signal just sandwiched right in between her snark, snark, virtue signal, snark.
I think the whole thing is virtue signal though. Like take the money, like do good, and chill the F out, like. But what if she just made her money and she doesn't want to do good? Like, technically, she's also entitled to do that. She owes you nothing to do.
We talked about it when we reviewed the Batman yesterday,
Yeah.
or not reviewed, but it came up yesterday in conversation where I said where Bruce Wayne gets in a conversation with annoying, pretentious mayoral candidate who says, as far as I can see, he's like, your family used to have a history of philanthropic work, and as far as I can see, you're not doing anything. I'm like, he doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's his money.
Also, like me, a politician, saying, I noticed you're not doing philanthropic work. Perhaps you'd like to give to my campaign. You know, there are a lot of organizations, and I used to work in fundraising, that will be like, you know, I really think it's important that we have a culture of philanthropy. Please give us your money and we will show you that we are using it by not doing anything at all. Like it's I think philanthropic giving is a good thing, and I think it is important to personally hold yourself to being charitable and generous with people whenever you can be, but I actually don't think we should force anyone to do anything.
Yeah.
And so therefore, like,
I'm one of those people that, like, a lot of people don't want to give the bum on the street. Miracle does it because Miracle grew up in California where homelessness is a very big problem, right? So she's more suspicious of your average homeless person.
Yeah.
I understand that. I would rather give my $20 to a bum on the street who is willing to sit out there and ask for the money than give it to some charity where I would have to do 2 days worth of research to know where 80% of that money goes.
sure.
I'm not going to be making a donation that's going to change any one life with that $20 donation, but I certainly will do something for an individual because I don't like the idea of collectivism in general.
Yeah.
I focus on the individual. So if
Yeah.
I'm going to give, and that I don't do, we don't see that often out
Yeah.
here, but when I do, I will do that because I would rather do that for the one guy, not knowing what he's going to use it for. My dad had his own method. Like if people would be wearing like a Vietnam veteran hat, or if the sign said something about Vietnam being a Vietnam vet, my dad would ask me, like, what were the 3 weapons you carry? Because my dad was a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
He would quiz them to make sure they weren't
faking it.
And then if they passed, he would give them the money.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's just and
like Vietnam vets, especially, like that time period and our attitude towards them was like so poor that, like, I don't know. I think it is notable to God. Like there are things that we are all more drawn to giving towards, and I think, there's no reason to believe that Kim Kardashian doesn't do good in whatever way. I mean, like, technically you're supposed to do good without virtue signaling
and
about
it's
it.
It's never enough for them anyways, because whenever you give, they'll say, oh, they have this much money, why didn't they give more?
Yeah, that's what Kevin Hart did.
Yeah.
During, what was it? Not ASL. Basically the ice bucket challenge.
Oh, has there been anything more of a virtue signal than the ice bucket challenge?
No, it's bad. I think I even made one and it was like, I don't really understand what's going on.
But
also, you don't want to be the person not doing it. It's more susceptible to peer pressure then.
There was the thing in Slack today where somebody says 5 TikTok dances you can do to stand for Ukraine.
No, I should have sent you the best Ukraine TikTok of all time, which is a Ukrainian teenager who's in a bomb shelter and is like, here's what my day is like. And the caption on it was like, Gen Z, they're a different breed.
I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, it's a crazy world out there.
I'm not a fan of Jamila Jamil.
I'm not
a lot
either.
of people are. The only fans that she had was maybe The Good Place when she was on that show.
I thought she did well in The Good Place. I can respect her acting, but then I don't want to follow. I don't consume her content else.
I know, but like her character on that show kind of acts the same way how she acts in real life, where she seems like the good person, but she's just a spoiled brat that wants people to pay attention to her, and she makes like other spoiled people. Well, I wouldn't say Kim Kardashian's that spoiled because she worked her way up to a certain extent. But she likes pushing other people who are a little bit well off than she is down.
They love what they call punching up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always okay as long as you're punching up.
Yeah.
But it says, alongside Variety's tweet showing Kim's advice, Jamila36 says, I think if you grew up in Beverly Hills with super successful parents in what it was simply a smaller mansion, nobody needs to hear your thoughts on success or work ethic. The same 24 hours in the day shit is a nightmare. 99% of the world grew up very different, with a very different 24 hours. These are the hardest things for me because I agree with the realist side of this.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I look at this and I say, why can't you just leave it
Why
be?
do you have to insert yourself into this conversation? Yeah.
Like we're not tweeting at them. We're just simply talking about it.
Right.
Like we're not like she's clout chasing by tagging Kim into it, I guess.
Well, and I think like our function here is to read, is this good advice or not? And it is good advice, and we
Exactly.
can understand why it stings. I think ultimately we have a hard time gauging our measures of success. Like Kim Kardashian is a billionaire and she's, famous and she can pay for all plastic surgeries and do whatever. But if you don't achieve those things in your lifetime, that doesn't mean you're not successful.
Exactly.
And you should still work hard at the things you're passionate about.
What's
right?
interesting is I think this is a topic that we could get like an entire show out of.
Mhm.
Like there's enough here that you could make an hour video just going over the nuances of the discussion. I had one more, just because I wanted to point out that she does have a thing for getting into, like you said, Miracle.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of clout chasing, because this is an old article that says Jamila Jamil made some valid points about Kim Kardashian's obsession with body image on Instagram. Who cares? Leave her alone.
Also, like, aren't we not supposed to comment on other women's bodies? Like, aren't we
Yes.
supposed to let them be however they want to be?
In fact, I'm breaking the cardinal rule by talking about women's bodies, I think.
It's okay. You're
No, but you
You
know what I
allowed.
mean? Like, when they talk about it, like, generally, like, if Kim Kardashian wants to post whatever, like, it's not like it's in my taste, but, like,
Yep.
shouldn't she be allowed to do what she wants?
That's what you'd think. It says, considering one of the greatest voices for body positivity of our century, sorry, I don't make the rules. Jamila Jamil has been fighting the good fight for years. Now so women can love the skin they're in without reservation.
Oh, shut up.
Is there a way to know
By,
when
like,
this is official?
shaming someone else on Instagram?
It's like, but like, my question is like, the thing about this stuff is a lot like activism. There is no end goal. There is no day where we finally wake up and we're like, we are now officially all happy with the skin we're in. We can discontinue this crusade. We can move on.
People like her, you can find certain things that make her very, like, tick off. Like, you can find her insecurities quickly if you want to be that way.
I'm
just saying. I'm not being mean. I'm just
wouldn't wanna
saying.
engage with her in any way. Like I've always found people that are this kind of confrontational with other people on social media to be very distasteful.
Yeah.
But it says, while Jamila has previously slammed the Kardashians for promoting unrealistic body types, that's my other favorite. Where are her organs? And then all the fitness.
None of your business.
All the fitness models are
I don't
like,
like-
I work hard for this, and you guys act like there's a TikTok trend where it's like, how do you do it? Practice, and they're like, I could never do that. Practice. And it's like,
You
it's
mean
like,
you're quoting
it's like-
Kim Kardashian?
No, this is
you
like,
work hard.
Yeah,
You
yes,
get off your
yeah.
ass?
It's like a trend where it's like various people, like, and then every time they say practice, it's talking about whatever their profession is, and it's talking about somebody's like, oh my god, how could you have ever accomplished that? It's impossible. But they're like, you can get good at it
Yeah.
if you practice.
Well, and they make, like, people who have, like, are ripped or whatever, like, they prioritize it. You know what I mean? Like, that is true of all things in life, right?
We brought it up yesterday. I said I love people that are heavy into the gym, that are heavy into MMA, because they all believe in personal responsibility, and they hold nobody accountable for what comes of their life but them.
Well, but like when you got into skating, you didn't wake up one day and were like, oh my gosh, I can do all these tricks. I must put this to use. Like, you practiced. You did it because you liked it, and then you got better.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, Miracle's probably the same thing with art. Like,
Yeah.
you started at a young age, you were interested in it, but then you do it enough so that you get better. Like, I think people want this instant result culture. I know I do sometimes. You get frustrated that you can't just, like, move on to the next level, but, like,
And also people.
all good things to those who actually work at them.
Yeah, and also you gotta remember people have different, like, levels of learning or, like, achievements. So you need to leave people alone. Everybody has their own pace.
Yeah. Well, I think about, I know I've quoted it before. I really need
Yeah.
to find this comedian's name, but he does this thing where he's like, you need to lower your expectations.
Exactly.
You're not a princess. Your daddy lied to you. And like, he talks about like what qualities you should look for in a man. And then he's like, and young girls will be like, yeah, I want all that. But can he have abs? And he's like, no. Real men who work hard don't have abs. They have one. But it's like, if you were going to have a six pack, you have to go to the gym for long periods of time and eat a certain way. Like,
The guy who can't go to the gym every day and eat that way if he's got his job that requires 12 hours a day of manual labor or something like
Yeah,
that. Like, it's
just, or they make time outside of that.
Yeah.
Like, they're extra, like this, like Kim Kardashian's obsessed with body image. Like, how much time did you spend digging through her Instagram to make these specific criticisms of her?
I just find all of this funny because me and Dane,
I
because
just never realized how much I defend Kim Kardashian.
yeah, well, me and Dane talk a lot about Kanye West on here with Miracle, and what he tends to point out is that Kim is getting a lot of like coverage from the media where this whole divorce, she's coming out looking like a rose because of her business savvy and her ability to
Because she's
play-
a PR
genius.
genius.
So where I was just kind of funny that like now she's kind of getting a little bit of blowback for once, and that feels like that hasn't happened in a while, courtesy of other celebrities.
Or was
who-
this on purpose? Did she make an intentionally controversial sentence so she didn't look too good during this? Because Kanye pointed out that she's been winning in terms of press war. Like, that's the level I think she's operating on.
That's a Xanatos Gambit level evil plan.
But when
from-
your life has been maintaining your public image for 2 decades, like, you're telling me she didn't consider she can't look too good in the press?
I imagine she like checks her watch. It's been 53 years. She's like, I'm gonna have to like trip in one of my heels while I'm out walking.
No, I think it's like she's like dinner meeting with her PR agent, and she's like, okay, I have to say something slightly off, but that's not offensive. What do we say?
Then they brainstorm.
And then they brainstorm, and then she said that line.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what politicians do too, except
Yep.
maybe not with that, like, trying
She's
to
a-
stumble,
she's
but
a
like,
social politician.
she
she's a
is. That's
social
what
politician.
influencers are.
Yeah, they are just.
No, I like
I don't
the
know why I'm
memes.
screechy today. I apologize.
we
No,
like it.
you're okay. But it reminds me of the memes. Like, you remember when Kanye said he was going to run for president? And
Technically, he did run for president.
He did. He ran
Birthday
for the
party, baby.
Yeah, that was the fun party. But
I'm gonna
basically,
register.
it's
Sorry.
fine. It's fine.
What'd you
It was in the register for like voters, like it said birthday party.
No, I'm saying what were you saying
Oh,
about him?
I thought it was funny when he was running for president. Basically, there was a Smosh video where they made fun of it. Like, he's the face of it, but the whole, the person who's behind the whole thing was Kim Kardashian. She's like, yes, vote for my husband. Secretly, I'm running this.
Yeah, no. I totally like.
She's like secretly the mastermind behind the
I
whole
think
thing.
one of the reasons I was like, they gotta stay together because
Exactly.
he's creative and she can make things happen. And
Exactly.
together,
It's like a House of Cards
but
episode.
also like.
Exactly.
Like, the thing is, like, they represent a lot of stuff I don't necessarily believe in, but also, like, sometimes I don't, it's very hard to
This is
take
when
it.
Anthony Padilla was still on Smosh. Like, that's when I thought their skits were funny until he left. Like, it went downhill from there.
Poor guy.
Well, like, no, he's more successful without them.
No, good.
Yeah,
No, that's
that
good.
company went downhill after, like, their main crew left.
Such as usually happens with these
Yeah.
businesses. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.